Okay, I have finally found the best video editing software for aspiring YouTubers who want to edit professionally, and the best part is it's completely free. In this video, I'm going to show you the exact step-by-step blueprint that I have used as someone who's been a professional video editor for the last 7 years before ever becoming a YouTube strategist and having edited for some of the top 1% of YouTubers, household names. And this is the same software that I've used to edit videos that went on to get millions of views. The software I'm going to reveal to you in this video is beginner friendly. It's a software that helps you save a ton of time, and it's a software that can allow you to edit YouTube videos that get views completely for $0 out of pocket, for free. But before I reveal the software, I need to warn you about something that literally 90% of new editors get wrong. And if you fall into this trap, no software, free or paid, will help you grow on YouTube. And I'll tell you what this is in just a second. But first, let's talk about what makes this editing software so powerful. See, the software that I'm talking about is Davinci Resolve, and it's the same software used by Hollywood professionals and some of your favorite YouTubers. But here's what most YouTubers don't realize. Davinci Resolve, even the free version of the software, it has free effects and motion graphics that can literally instantly make your videos look super professional, super advanced, and clean. Most beginners literally waste hours of their time trying to create basic titles and animations from scratch, or settle for boring, janky looking transitions, effects, titles, etc. But the effects here are actually pretty good, and take it from somebody who's been an editor for the last 7 years. And this is not a sponsored video, but another place that I get amazing effects, if you want to look into it, is a place called Motion VFX. It's the same plugins that Apple uses for their keynotes. So for YouTube, you can access super high quality drag and drop motion graphics, titles, and literally everything you could ever need to be able to help you create way better content by using Motion VFX. Again, not sponsored. I just love them and I use them in every single one of my videos. And I find it incredibly helpful. So I just thought I would share that with you guys. But effects alone won't make your video engaging, right? There's one crucial element that separates amateur editors from professionals. See, have you ever noticed how Mr. Beast videos keep you watching until more times than not the very end? It's not just because of crazy challenges, it's because of the editing. See, most new editors make the mistake of thinking that good editing is about crazy effects or just a lot of things happening on screen. But in reality, the key to holding a viewer's attention is pacing and storytelling. See, if your video drags on for even a second, people will leave. They're brutal. So here's a little trick that I use, and take this with a grain of salt because I do break this rule when it comes to specific parts of videos. But as a principle to keep in your mind, I like to use this trick. And it's basically what I call the 6-second rule. So it's every 6 seconds, most of the time, remember, I have something visually change. So whether it's a cut, whether it's a small zoom in, or whether it's an effect of some sort to reset the viewer's attention span. If the pacing and story of the specific part of the video that you're editing is calling for longer holds and less cuts, then do that, please. This is a rule that is meant to be broken when needed. So please take what I just said with a grain of salt. Use it as a tool in your toolbox. Which, by the way, if you want to learn how to grow your YouTube channel and become a top 1% video editor, you can join my school community that's specifically all about helping people become better at YouTube through video editing. Okay, so Davinci Resolve clearly makes all of this very easy with their built-in tools, but only if you know how to use them correctly. And I'll show you exactly how to edit a YouTube video in Davinci Resolve step by step. But first, let's address the big question that you might be having, which is the free version of Davinci Resolve good enough? Or do you need to upgrade to the studio version, which is a one-time payment of $300? Honestly, as an editor for the past 7 years who's edited for a lot of YouTubers, the free version of Davinci Resolve, I would say, is more powerful than most paid video editing software. So you get industry-leading color grading tools, which can be scary to use at times. I get it. You get professional level video editing features. You get built-in audio correction tools that are super pro and make you speed up your time within editing exponentially and make your videos a higher quality. And you also get built-in AI features to help you speed up your workflow like crazy. But there are a few limitations that you do have with the free version. The biggest one is you don't get full GPU acceleration, which basically means if you're working with a 4K timeline, rendering will be a little bit slower, but it's not a big deal. Also, some really advanced effects are going to be locked. But the thing is, if you're just starting out, you don't need those features. In fact, I edited clients' projects for years professionally using only the free version. and you can do the exact same thing too. So what I'd recommend for you is recommend learning the software as much as possible. And then if you start to feel like you want to use some of the very niched locked effects or features, then start flirting with the idea of switching over to the paid studio version. Now, with that being said, let me show you how to get started with this software step by step. But first, if you want the studio version for free, the $300 studio version for free, I'm doing a giveaway, but I'll only be selecting people who join my free newsletter. So if you want a chance to win the free studio license to Davinci Resolve with a value of $300, sign up using the link below to enroll. And when you sign up to my newsletter with the link specifically below this video, you will automatically be enrolled for a chance to win the Davinci Resolve studio license. Okay, so this is the beginner's guide to editing in Davinci Resolve. And if you've never used Davinci Resolve before, here's how to set up your first project in under 5 minutes. So the very first thing that we're gonna wanna do is open up Davinci Resolve. We're gonna be greeted with this pop-up. We're gonna wanna create a new project. So come here and click new project, okay? And then name that project, okay? And then you can name it whatever you wanna name it, and then click create. And then you will be greeted with this pop-up right here. First of all, we were gonna have a few pages on the very bottom. So let's get used to the layout here. So the very bottom one here is called the media page, okay? And the media page is basically where we're going to create folders, where we're going to organize all of our media, all of our clips, all of that good stuff. And by the way, guys, there is a lot of very advanced material to be said about every single one of these pages. However, we are not going to go over that because this is just to get us up and running to edit a YouTube video with as little overwhelm as possible. Okay, the next page is the cut page. Honestly, guys, if you are not professionally editing and you guys are editing just for YouTube, basic YouTube stuff, you could completely skip this page. This page is for essentially choosing your selects. And I find myself, even as a pro editor who edits for big YouTubers, never using this page. I always just go straight to the edit page, and I usually basically live and spend most of my time here in the edit page. Then you have the next page, which is the Fusion page. This is like where you can do motion graphics and animations and some crazy stuff like that. This is, if you're familiar with the Adobe Suite, this would be like the After Effects of Davinci Resolve. Then you have what Davinci Resolve is most known for, which is the color page, their color grading features. And then you have their Fairlight page, which is all about music editing and then in sound editing. And then, which by the way, I never ever really use this that much. I do for some of like the documentary type projects that I work on, but for the most part, I normally do not come in here for basic YouTube videos. And then over here, you have the final export page. I know that might have felt very overwhelming. So now we're going to go step by step and we're going to make it not overwhelming. So the first thing you're going to want to do is in this box right here, this whole area right here, we're going to want to right click and create new bin, okay? And then we're going to type A-roll. And this is going to be our main talking head footage, okay? Then we're going to create new bin again, right click, new bin. We're going to put B-roll. And this will be any supplementary footage that we put on top of our A-roll. And we'll want to create a new bin and type in music. For now, that's all we're going to focus on. So what we're going to want to do now is we're going to want to go to our media, our video file, and we're going to want to drag and drop them here. So I filmed this. This is my audio and my video. I will drag and drop it into A-roll. Perfect. Beautiful. That's all we're going to do for right now because we don't have any B-roll and we don't have any music yet. We're going to go over to the edit page from here. We have our bins organized. Now, what you're probably going to see is something like this, okay, when you come in here. And you're going to be like, what in the world? First thing you're going to want to do is come up here and click on Media Pool. Open this window. And basically, this window that we just opened up by clicking on Media Pool shows us our media files. So whatever we dragged in from the media page. And this is A-roll, okay? Then over here, we want to come and click on the top right called Inspector, because this is where we're going to edit any of our footage to zoom in, to move the position, the rotation, all that good stuff. Then down here, we have what's called the timeline. Now, the timeline is where we're actually going to drag and drop our clips to begin editing. Now, one thing I want to mention, when you click this little arrow right here, what will happen is it'll allow you to bring down the entire media page and cut over the timeline and shorten your timeline here. Or you could click on the arrow again to get rid of that. You could do the same thing over here with the inspector with this arrow on the top right, or not. I personally don't like to keep it like that. I usually like to keep it how you see it here. Now we're going to just simply drag and drop our footage into our timeline. Could just make this go a little bit bigger. And then let's just drag into audio because I recorded that separately. By the way, if you want to zoom out, you need to hold Option and either scroll down on your mouse wheel, or if you're on a Mac, you need to pinch your trackpad to zoom out. I hate that they do this. I've been trying to find a way where we can zoom out without having to hold down Option. And I've gone through every form you could possibly think of, and I cannot find anything. Now, a quick thing that I do want to mention here is this little button right here. It's the timeline view option, so we can display how we want to see our things. So right here, we could choose our video height or how high we want the clips to show. We could, same thing with our audio. We could display full waveform, which is basically all this craziness going on in the audio. Or we could display non-rectified waveform, which is how I personally like to have it. And you could just play around with this, right? And just see what you like to work with the best here. So what I'm going to do is simply now just basically line up my audio file here with my A-roll. So I'm going to zoom in. But the thing is that even with 0 views, even if nobody watches a YouTube channel, it could still be one of the most smartest decisions that you ever make. And here's the craziest part. And here's the craziest thing about this. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's lined up pretty good. So what I can do now is actually just delete the other audio file so we don't have so many things to work with, and just drag up this one. And then now we have our main talking head footage that we could begin to edit with. What I'm going to do is basically just cut out this first part by clicking the keyboard shortcut B for the blade tool, and then you'll see that blade was activated. All you need to do is hover over where you want to cut the clip, and then click, and then go click the keyboard shortcut A to go back to your cursor, and then you can highlight the clips you don't want and click backspace to delete. This empty area, you could either grab the clips like this and move it, or you can just click on this empty space and click backspace. There's something called keyboard shortcuts within editing, and this is what we really need to understand here in order to speed up our workflow. What we just did was a keyboard shortcut. B for blade tool, that's a keyboard shortcut. A to go back to the cursor tool, keyboard shortcut. Space bar to press play, keyboard shortcut. Those are the main ones that you guys will need for now. So we're not going to go crazy in depth, but if you guys want to go customize your own keyboard shortcuts and see your own keyboard shortcuts, you can come up to Davinci Resolve up here, keyboard customization, and then you have access to that here. So now what we're going to do is we're basically going to watch through the video, and we're going to start cutting out any mistakes that we see. I've been thinking a lot lately. Okay, so right away there was a mistake. So right here, I want to cut out this whole section here. So again, B for blade tool. I will cut that footage and that audio right there. I will click A for the cursor tool. I will select all that, and I will click backspace to delete. Again, I'm going to click that empty space and click backspace and bring that forward. I've been thinking a lot lately about YouTube and how most people don't start a YouTube channel because they're just afraid that no one will watch, or that people will watch but will judge them. Okay, so this is a long empty space, so I'm going to want to cut this out. So again, B, cut by clicking, and then A for your cursor tool. Come over here, cut, cursor tool, and backspace. Now, here's something interesting I want to teach you guys. Really good editing technique to help your videos feel more seamless. You see how we just have a cut here where we just took out the mistake, then we brought the two clips together. It feels a little bit jarring, aggressive, and you could tell that there was a cut there when we watch back. We'll judge them. But the thing is, you see how aggressive that was? But we'll judge them. But the thing is, so how can we make that feel a little bit more hidden or seamless? Well, we do something called a J or an L cut. This is essentially where we take this clip right here and we just drag it a little bit to the right so that the audio begins to play before the clip shows. Then we're going to drag this audio clip or track down one, and then we're going to highlight this and bring this forward. So now what's going to happen is we're going to hear the audio before we see the cut. And when this happens, subconsciously, the cut is less aggressive because we already expect the audio, or we hear the audio from what's to come. So we expect the cut, but we'll judge that. But the thing is that, see, it instantly felt so much better. And that's the power of J and L cut. Still not, I don't love it still, but it's definitely much better than it was. I'm not going to have you guys sit through as I edit an entire video because it's the exact same thing. So now what I'm going to show you guys how to do is how to basically add B-roll. Either you could have B-roll that you filmed yourself, or you can get B-roll online. But I've been thinking a lot lately about YouTube. I think I have a B-roll clip where I say that in my hard drive. I have for myself, I have my own B-roll. Maybe for you guys, you shoot your own B-roll or just get B-roll from online. A few really good places to do that is Storyblocks, Motion Array, or Artlist. Anyways, for now, what we're going to do is we're going to just use the B-roll that I already have. So what we're going to do is go back to the media page, go to the B-roll folder. It's right here, B-roll, double click, and we're just going to drag and drop all the B-roll that I have into here. Now what I'm going to do is go back to the cut page. And by the way, we could have done that here. I just wanted to show you guys the proper way. So I would just try to find maybe a video of me thinking. Oh, here we go. Right here. This is an example of B-roll. It's supplementary footage that we put on top of our A-roll to help tell the story of what we're saying a little bit better, right? By the way, if you guys don't want to drag in the audio with the clip, if we only wanted the video, we could hold Option and drag and drop that, and then it only drag and drops the actual video file, which is cool. I've been thinking a lot lately about YouTube and how perfect. So I would cut it there, right? I like how I look towards the camera a little bit, and then I kind of say the point where I would only need to put this B-roll, and I would cut it there, and then it would look like this. I've been thinking a lot lately about YouTube and how most people don't start a YouTube channel because they're just afraid that no one will watch. Basically, that's the process of B-roll. So you continue to do that throughout the rest of your video. What we want to do is understand how to manipulate the frame a little bit, right? So for example, I might want to zoom in on this a little bit more. So if I wanted to do that, this is where the inspector window would come in, right? This is the window that I've been talking about over here. So what I would want to do is, let's say that I want to zoom in this whole clip. I'm going to highlight the clip so it's highlighted with that red border. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to my video transform section, and where it shows zoom and position, I'm just going to zoom in by sliding that in a little bit. I'm going to change my position so I go down a little bit. And I think that I like this frame a lot better, right? So then it would look like that. But we'll judge them. But the thing, and then imagine I wanted to go to this, and then I wanted, but the thing is, that when I say, but the thing is, imagine I wanted to zoom in, right? So, and do like kind of like a jump cut. I can just slide up the zoom so it goes in on my face, and then I can position, manipulate the position to find a good place where I want this to go. It's very easy stuff, guys. But we'll judge them. But the thing is that even with 0 views, even if, so that was an aggressive example, but that was and probably not an aesthetically pleasing or good one at all, but it was just an example of how to use the inspector to manipulate your footage. But what about slow zooms? So let's undo what we just did here. What if I wanted to just slow zoom in this whole thing? Well, instead of keyframing and doing all these crazy things, Davinci Resolve makes this really cool. What we can do is highlight our clip, and we can scroll down, make sure we're in this video tab, scroll down to what's called dynamic zoom. Click that. You can have it zoom out to in or in to out. So for example, by default, it's zooming out. The thing is that even with 0 views, and it does it automatically, guys. That's such a game changer. You know how much time that saves you? If you were using something like Premiere Pro, you would have to manually create something called keyframes, where you set a position, you keyframe it or mark it, you move forward, and then you set a new position, and it takes a lot of time. This was literally like 2 clicks. Now, let's say we wanted to zoom in the other way. All we need to do is come here and click swap. That's all. The thing is that even with 0 views, now it zooms in. It's so easy. And if you guys want to manipulate this further, you can come here to this little square down here, click this drop-down arrow, come to dynamic zoom, and you can control the green and the red. So the green is where it starts, the red is where it ends. You could even come here and choose ease in and ease out so it's a little bit smoother. The thing is that even with 0 views, right? This is game changing. So easy, just a click of a button. That's with dynamic zoom. So if you guys wanted to do that. So those are some of the things that we would probably want to do with YouTube, but imagine like we want to emphasize something with the title. Well, what we can do is we can come up to our effects, okay, which is this button here. And by the way, the effects here are fantastic. You have wonderful effects, but let's say we just go to custom text plus. Okay, let's add that. So let's drag and drop that here. Perfect. Okay, so let's say it's here. The thing is that even with 0 views, by the way, guys, I just had a glitch, a little hack and a little bonus tip for you is if you are on a weaker computer, what you can do is follow my exact instructions to speed up your workflow in Davinci Resolve. So come up here to playback, go over to timeline playback resolution and move this to quarter. Basically, your footage is playing back. If you shoot this in 4K, automatically it will play back in 4K. But that's very taxing on your computer. So what you can do is you can set it to play back at a very low quality or resolution, so it's easy on your computer. And then when you go and export that video, it'll export in the 4K that it was shot in. So that's playback. Timeline playback resolution, make sure that's set to quarter. Next is render cache. This is going to be set to none. Make sure you select smart. And then a blue bar is going to come across, or a red bar is going to come across your timeline. And then that red bar, if there's red above it like it just was, it means that that needs to render. It needs time to process or load. And it's going to automatically load that clip by itself while you continue to work or do your thing. And then once it's blue, that means it's loaded. That means you'll have zero problems. And then if you've been working in a project for a long time and things start to slow down, come to delete render cache and select unused. And what that's going to do is delete any unused cache that you do not need. So those are some tricks to save up some space and make Davinci run a little bit faster. So we're just going to grab the end of this clip and bring it in and listen back to what I said. But the thing is that even with 0 views, even if, okay, so maybe we could say, type in even with 0 views and take your text, come over to font and choose the font you want. I always like to use Inter because it's the font that Apple uses. And I like to use black as far as like that's even thicker than bold. And then just choose your color by selecting the color here. And you could just play with your color wheels and choose the color you'd like. You can choose the size that you want the text to be. You could choose the tracking, which is basically how far the words are from each other. I like to keep it pretty close usually. And you can choose a lot of really cool other features, but here's one that I really like. Okay, so this is just a basic title, right? Well, what if we could have it like write on? That'd be kind of cool. Like if it wrote itself onto screen, we can do that. Let's come right here. Maybe the thing is that, let's say 3 seconds into this clip, I'm going to make sure my playhead, this red line, is where I want it to be, right here in the middle. I'm going to come over to write on, and I'm going to click this little diamond. And what's going to happen is that diamond's going to turn red. That means I just created a keyframe. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to this playhead and I'm going to move it back to the very beginning of this text layer. Then I'm going to come back to this write on and I'm going to take this and I'm going to move this bar all the way to the left. What's going to happen, the thing is that it's going to write itself on. Really cool effect, really easy to do. The thing is that even with 0, so maybe we can even move this a little bit more so it goes as we say it, right? The thing is that even with 0 views, that was pretty cool. I like that. And then we could even shorten this so it's just that part. And maybe we can make this more aesthetically pleasing. So we can come over to settings. Come up here. We could zoom in on the title a little bit. We could change the positioning to go down a little bit. And then now we just created a really cool write-on title for our YouTube video. But the thing is that even with 0 views, even if, right? Pretty cool. Now I'm going to just show you guys how to add music, and then I'm going to show you guys how to export. Right now what we're going to do is we're going to go to where I usually like to get music, which is Epidemic Sound. You have a lot of cool stuff. Right here when you get here, a search bar where you could search whatever type of music you want. What's really cool is when you come to the music tab. So when you come to the music tab, you have popular tracks, you have the latest tracks, and then when you scroll down, you even have moods. So do you want something relaxing, mysterious? Do you want something, euphoric? Do you want something epic? Cooking, holiday, vlogs, right? So let's say this is a vlog. Let's say it's a lifestyle vlog. Whoa. Say that this is the music I want. I'll come here to download. Cool. And then I'll come back to Davinci Resolve. I'll go to my media page. And then I will come here and click on master on the left side. So it takes me back to my main folders and I'll double click into music. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my downloads folder on my MacBook and it will show up right here. I'm going to just simply drag and drop it into my music folder. Then I'm going to go back to my editing timeline. I'm going to come up here to media pool and I'm going to go to music and then it's going to be right here. I'm going to now drag and drop it into my timeline, okay, right below the audio file. So the first thing you'll notice is when I press play, it's going to be very loud. I've been thinking a lot lately about YouTube and how most people don't start a YouTube channel because they're just afraid that no one will watch. The first thing I do is I turn down the volume, right? So that I can kind of hear what I'm saying with the music. So to do that, all you need to do is click on your song and come down to this in the inspector to the volume section under audio. And you could bring it down. I usually bring it down to around 18, negative 18 to see it first and see how that sounds. I've been thinking a lot lately about YouTube and how most people don't start a YouTube channel because they're just afraid that no one will watch or that it's still a little bit too loud. So what I would want to do is maybe bring it down to negative 21, 22. I've been thinking a lot lately about YouTube and how most people don't start a YouTube channel because they're just afraid that no one will watch or that people will. Even now, it's still a little too loud. I might want to just go to like 26, negative 26, because you don't want music. You want music to be, not so overbearing. I've been thinking a lot lately about YouTube and how most people don't start a YouTube channel because they're just afraid that no one will watch or that people will watch, but yes, this is much better. Okay, cool. So a few cool things that we have here. So first of all, in the audio section, we can click on the audio of our own voice and we could have voice isolation. What this will do is get rid of any background sound. So if you have an AC unit, somebody's talking, or it's a noisy environment, that'll get rid of it. Now, when it comes to the actual music track, so we have a music remixer, which is really cool, which means when we select this, we can get rid of the drums, we can get rid of the guitar, we can get rid of the voice, we can choose what instruments we want to play and not play, all within Davinci Resolve, which is super, super cool. We also have an equalizer that's a little advanced, you don't need to worry about that. And then we have, again, for our voice, a dialogue leveler, which is really cool. So if you have sound that is peaking too high or too low, dialogue leveler will help you have steady audio throughout the whole way through. So these are some really cool audio effects or use cases that you can use and implement in your own videos to just level up your audio. So when it comes to editing music, all I really do is that I just turn it down and I basically go through and break my video into chapters. And for each chapter, I'll give it a song. So I'd be like, okay, this part of the video maybe gets its own song. So what I'll do is cut the very end. So I'll click B for blade tool. I'll cut the very end of this song. Then I'll drag this to where I want it to end. I'll bring that end over here. And then I'll zoom in. So let's say I want the first song to only play until here, and then I want to add a new song, right? Because I'm talking about something else. Well, I'll bring the very end of this song. I'm just going to bring this in a little bit more. And then I'll basically connect where I cut it. And then I will click Command T to create a transition. And then what's going to happen is now the music will end seamlessly as it's supposed to, without me having to just fade it out like a newbie, right? So when we watch it back, it sounds like this. Even if nobody watches a YouTube channel, it could still be one of the most smartest decisions that you ever make. And here's the craziest part, right? So that's how that song ended. This song just naturally ended abruptly, but normally most songs don't end so abruptly. And when they don't, it makes it feel a lot more high quality, because what we just did, you didn't even realize that there was a cut in between here when you listen back, because Davinci's really good at hiding that with their audio transitions. Okay, so let's say that we're done, right? Let's say we wanted to export the video. We just come to the export page. So we actually have a few really cool options. If you scroll over here, we actually have a specific YouTube option. And I like to do the YouTube for 4K, right? Or you could even do the 4K one. And then what I like to do is name it. So especially when they're YouTube videos, so I'll come here to YouTube, choose the 4K, I'll name it YouTube video, whatever you want to name it. And then you just keep these all the same and click add to render queue, okay? And then choose where you want it to be saved. So let's just say here for now. And then what you're going to want to do is come here and click render all. And then it's going to render, and then your video will be saved, and you will have a final done product for YouTube. Boom, you have officially and already are ahead of 90% of new YouTubers who get stuck overcomplicating these things. But if you want to keep improving your editing speed and quality, again, I have something for you I really, really want you to take action on if you're interested, which is, aside from my school community, all about YouTube growth and how to edit videos and grow on YouTube through editing. I have a free newsletter that I mentioned with exclusive editing tips, workflow shortcuts, high quality free assets for Davinci Resolve, YouTube growth tips, strategies, algorithm updates, and so much more. It's so full of value. It's sent out every single week to you to help you YouTubers and video editors work faster, create better content, you name it. So remember, if you want all that, plus a chance to win the Davinci Resolve Studio version, the link is in the description below. But now that you know the best free editing software for YouTube, see, having the right tools is just step one. If you really want to make videos that get a lot of views and you want to grow your YouTube channel, then you need to learn which strategies can actually allow you to do that. Well, in this video right here, I break down the best strategies to use to get your first 1,000 subscribers fast, using the same frameworks and systems that I use to grow one of my clients' channels from 2,000 to 40,000 plus subscribers in less than 90 days.